My name is Pankaj, and I'm a trained engineer. Uh, before doing farming, I was into high performance computing, where I used to work with people who were obviously having challenging jobs in hand, right from weather forecasting to problems like protein foldings to genomic data mining, to many more. And many a times I felt that this is fine. You may still find people who are still interested in doing all these kind of jobs, but we need to do something which is meaningful and real, that we can touch with our hand. And this thought stuff, I start thinking about all this around 29 or 2009, or that time. Um, I met with two other colleagues who had worked with me earlier, and we start thinking that what can be done. So we start contemplating, deliberating, and farming came natural to us, because this was the area where there was least intervention that happened, and people at the bottom of pyramid was least enabled. So we thought that we can possibly impart whatever is structural or formatted, or a framework knowledge or intelligence that we have, and start working with them. We start meeting them, and we kept meeting them for 2 years, but nothing happened, because I believe in Indian context, that credibility doesn't get through when somebody outside, uh, uh, from the farming context, start interacting with them. So it was obviously decided that we will have to lead this with an example. I kept traveling around the world, and once I traveled to New Zealand as well at those time, and I met Mr. Earl Rattray, who happened to be founding director of Fonterra as well. Fonterra is world's largest exporter of milk, and I met him, and I understood the economy there, and it seems they were doing fine. 60% of New Zealand's economy is agrarian, and farmer is at the top of the pyramid out there. And that inspired me to replicate the same in India. And we start comparing data, and we found that our land here is so fertile that we can grow up to 3 times of the crop volume as anybody can do it in temperate country. We have sun all year around, we have water here, we have a good fertile land that is time tested and proven. Why not? We can do that. And then we start deciphering other constraints that we have. So I started working on a computer model, and soon we realized that the best thing that we can influence our agriculture is through dairy, because dairy, first of all, it is a good marketed commodity. It has a demand year around. It doesn't go in spike and furrows. And the other thing is that you can influence so many other farmers, because if you consolidate dairy, it takes huge land mass around it. We started with a proof of concept farm in 2012, and at the same year we registered our company as well. Proof of concept farm went for about 2 years. 2 years we kept learning what is going on. We kept modeling that in the model that we had built for the ecosystem. And we found that about 60-70% that we had assumed earlier was turning out to be good. Slowly we started realizing that for a farm to be successful, there has to be a demand that that should be following to your produce. So the only way was to go to consumer directly and see that whether they need quality milk. And the first day I went to a nearby community there with the 7 bottle literally in my hand. I used to drive Centro those days. And literally on the one seat, I took 7 bottles in my hand, and we went and served to them, and they really liked it. They really hooked to it. In just 1 or 2 weeks time, we were from 7 bottles we were to 40 bottles. And just last year we touched a peak of 7,000 liters. From 7 bottles to 7,000 liters, we grew this market. So everything started that a journey that we started from plowing soil to now serving consumers happened in this last 7-8 years, and we are really happy today that venture is doing good. One thing that I found especially is that we use Wadhwani Foundation as our first filter to the human resource. Whenever we need somebody who is credible, somebody who is willing, Wadhwani actually gets us those people on board. And so far our experience has been very, very good. We needed somebody who could able to structure our finances and immediately Versa aligned people around that. And we had choices to make. That was a very good thing. If we would have to do that other way around, I mean, if Wadhwani was not there and I had to, all selection would have been incidental, first of all, and nobody would be interested in us. So what Wadhwani brings is, by selecting us or by selecting other advisor, is that they bring that platform where both parties see value in each other. First, because they are obviously selected by a credible platform, and they both see a mutual relation in a mutual way, which is a partnership. So the other thing that we are just preparing ourselves for next fundraise. We are inviting another partners who can help us in expanding this business. We are also taking Wadhwani's help there as well. So far, these 2-3 engagements, but every time we saw that there is a value which we could not have captured otherwise. So I believe it's most of the time it's the intangible culture that brings the tangible outcome from a team or from an organization. Those are the characteristics of advisors. So one of the things that I would optimize, there are certain optimization that this financial advisor that we have looked and brought in. Last year we were doing same revenue with lesser EBITDA at the bottom. This year we are doing, our EBITDA is about 5 to 7% more optimized. So that is the tangible outcome. But how that has come through the regular engagement, through the interaction, through helping, knowing us that where we can optimize, where we have to spend money. It is not just the cost cutting, but also knowing that where you can improve by spending money. So those kind of things these advisor brings. So definitely, I mean, once you are engaged with them, tangible outcomes are bound to come. But most of the time, what they bring is the culture, the cultural change within organization, the way we look at our operation, the way we look at our human resource. And I believe that contribution is more important than just looking at the mere tangibility of the outcome. Outcome will happen and bound to happen. See, SMEs, most of the time SMEs remain unknown. They work under the hood. Most of the time they are building things, those get branded or represented by bigger brands or more capital. So they are not that much visible. So, and because of that visibility, they do not have access to right people. Wadhwani Advantage does, or what Wadhwani Foundation does, is that they bring those people, those are enabler of the business, on platter for you. And once you are chosen for the Wadhwani Advantage program, they start respecting you as a venture which is worth spending time with. So I believe from that angle, where you make access to the talent, access to the wisdom, and making that possibility happen for SMEs is the biggest contribution that Wadhwani does to the SMEs. I believe every SME should get to your platform and should take this advantage. Like they may have intervention impulses from many areas. Lots of these SMEs are enabled because they are very small companies. They don't hire HR, so they don't know how to nurture people or how to keep them together or how to build teams and dissolve groups or how to build culture in them. So they need a HR impulse or HR input, which they possibly need once in a week or maybe once in a month. But how they can go and hire anybody of that sort. So your platform actually make that thing possible. So that is the biggest thing, that a top-notch HR manager or top-notch account and finance manager can come in and still contribute to SME in the financial model that an SME can afford.